may add,
Yes.
like for my wife too, we didn't really push the potential of engaging with the market,
Right.
because we have a younger kid. That's another dimension, your
Yes.
family structure.
Yes.
Because for my 4-year-old daughter, then she became 5 once we landed. She had to be sent back to kindergarten, so she couldn't be going to school every day. And now, if we're both running normal schedules, somebody will have to be rushing. So we decided to only look for work from home jobs for my wife. But now she's entering the normal stream of school. She can now explore. So your family structure too may impose some demand on you. So it is where
somebody have to be around. Somebody have to be home for the kids, because here in Canada
it's actually 12. It's age 12. You can't leave a child alone in the house.
Somebody has to be
12.
You have to be around with the kids, because they don't joke with children here. They don't joke with.
So that means your neighbor. I remember one of my friends actually mentioned that she stepped out. She had, at that time, I think she had maybe a 12 or 11-year-old that happened to be the oldest of the 3 kids, and I think she asked one of them to go throw the trash out or something, or somebody saw her drive out. I can't even remember the whole story, but somehow somebody was watching. You know, here
somebody is watching.
Somebody is watching.
They are watching.
Your neighbor is watching every movement, especially when you have young children that you are not meant to leave them unsupervised. They actually called the social worker, and this social worker came knocking at the door and was asking questions. And God help you that you are not even at home when they are asking these children questions. So we need to understand this. There are rules, and we need to abide by it. And that's why if you have younger kids, there's always a balance. Like Samuel said, I also remember a family, the husband had to be doing, I think, a night shift, while the wife did a day shift, to be able to balance the income if you don't want to keep just one spouse sitting at home to be able to take care of the kids. So one person is available when the other is actually working. Interesting. So, well, some of what we've discussed has also dived into cultural differences. I think maybe we can just chip in 1 or 2 more that we feel resonates with us. Get to
your location 30 minutes before when they expect you to be there.
No African time.
No African time. You have an interview for 3. They expect you to be there for 2:30. You can get there for 2. Nobody will kill you.
Even if you get there for 2, they welcome you and
they will appreciate it.
They will, and it's in the record.
Then like dogs and cats. Pets is a family member here.
Pet is a family member.
Pets are their family member.
Family members.
Even if you don't like dogs, don't show it. You know, don't like dogs, don't like cats. Learn how to exist with them.
Yes,
that's what they're accommodating.
I remember while working, one of my clients, I was asking her, how are you and how do you do and how is the family? She said, well, her family is fine, and I said, okay, that's good. They said, well, I don't have children, but I have dogs. Because I was trying to, familiarize with her and ask her, okay, how old are your kids? They said, no, they're just, they're my dogs and they're keeping me company and I love them.
Wow.
For us back in Nigeria, dogs are their pets, but we don't hold them, they are not they're like watchmen kind of,
Yes, exactly.
For us, and exactly not family members like that. Even if we love, because dogs are peculiar sometimes when they can communicate well with their owners and all that when they are well trained. There's a lot of differences.
Thank you so much.
You must like queuing. Queue. Like queuing.
Yes, I think I talked about that. No jumping or queue.
Not here.
So let me pass on to Bola. Tell us a bit about some of the practices or some interesting things that you found here that has shifted that culture for you from Nigeria? You know, making you understand that Canada, you're in Canada, this is different.
It's different. One thing is for sure, the driving.
Okay.
So over here there's all the traffic signs, signals. You have to obey them. In Nigeria, you can't really care less. If I need to be somewhere quickly, it's about where is the quickest. You beat the traffic lights, you do all sorts, God help us. But here, even if you are late, just take it that you are late.
Yeah.
You can't beat the traffic light. Even if there's nobody. Back at home you see there's a policeman, there's road safety, you hardly see any of them.
But they're trailing you.
Yeah, there are cameras around. The signs are just there. You just have to adhere to them. So that, of course, has taught me some discipline with regards driving. Then of course in the workplace, so it also depends on the kind of workplace you're coming from, even back in Nigeria. So sometimes, like we said initially, you have to be accommodating, right?
Yeah.
So for here, it's everybody is what is the word? Inclusive.
Yes.
So the inclusivity is very important here, right? So nobody's looking down on anybody because it's from Nigeria, or this person is from India, or this person is from the UK. Everybody is sort of like, everybody's invited to the table, right? Yeah. So of course, and we're going to be lying to ourselves if we say there is no politicking or organizational that happens sometimes. Exactly. It exists, and it exists across board. Even back at home, it exists. But here sometimes, I think what is important is making sure that you just keep that community of people that you like, your Nigerian community, friends, just knowing that you have that community of people you can rely on and can also rely on you also helps you to keep sane, because if you are here alone, for example, or maybe just you and your family, and you don't have absolutely anybody to even talk to, you can almost just go mad because you'll be wondering, what's this person? It can be lonely sometimes, so so I think
coming from a 3-month-old Canadian.
It can't.
In Saskatoon, the sunshine place.
Right. So you just have to be able to have people you can relate with and just be open-minded. What I would say here again is that be open-minded. I know we're very cultural people in Nigeria, and of course, by all means, do not do away with your culture, but be open-minded, right? So if you see somebody else, and like I've related with Indians, for example, there are a lot of them here in Canada, by the way,
and Chinese.
Right? And Chinese, yes. So they have their own culture from where they're coming in as well. So sometimes you are having conversation and they're talking about your facial, you have to just make sure as much as possible,
smile.
Keep a straight face and just smile.
Even if it shock you.
And you get a lot of shocks.
You get a lot of shock, but it's natural because you're coming from one part of the world to another one. So it will take time. Some things you've only heard for the first time. So, it is also the integration we're talking about. It's also about you integrating and also filtering through things and knowing, okay, this is acceptable by me, this is not acceptable by me, and just making sure that you live peaceably with all men as much as you can.
Okay, I have something to chip in, which back home we have a mentality of, if this person is my family, is this person supposed to do this for me? Yes, that kind of mentality. Yes, exactly. Sense of entitlement. Please, when you are coming here, please drop that sense of entitlement at MMA too. Because
those are coming from China in MMA. Where should they drop there?
At your local airport.
At your local airport. If you are coming from Nigeria, drop it. Whatever at your local airport, please drop it. Even if you have families there, because everybody is
trying to
survive, basically.
Hustle, survive. So don't have them, because you will end up having some bitterness against another person, whereby it's not going to be good for you. You try as much as possible to make ends meet for yourself. Look for a way out. And if anybody can, want to now help, the person should be the one to say, okay, what can I do?
Right.
Yes.
You know,
And you tend to appreciate that more.
then you tend to appreciate them more, because the truth of the matter is, as we normally say, when you travel maybe to the UK, US, Canada, there's free food, free money. Well, there's free food actually, because
Yes,
we have
Yes,
like
the bank.
free
Bank
food
is
bags
there.
and all that. But how long are you going to sustain yourself with
On that.
when you have family and you have goals?
Bills to
Except
pay.
yes, you have bills to pay. Except if you are coming in to Canada or you are going anywhere else all over the world without not having a plan for yourself and what you want to achieve, a goal ahead for yourself. Because the truth of the matter is, even people that are here, how will I put it now? But you know, they have things that settlement kind of process for them,
Yes.
just to help them start. Not, it won't take
You don't
forever.
expect you to be
Yeah.
dependent.
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to.
And I will speak a little bit about that, which I guess I've also been making so much noise on my channel. I know that for you to actually come to Canada, you have a POF that you should have for your family size. And that's meant to sustain you from 3 months thereabouts, especially if you don't find a job immediately. There's no guarantee, because you might not find. You might not be like a baller that got like almost a month into his arrival, or like I got 5 months into my landing. So if you don't find
3 months.
accommodation, you got 3 months, right?
He got like 2 months.
3 months. Bumping into my old friend.
So sometimes it happens quicker, sometimes it doesn't. And if you don't have that income or that proof of funds, which I know depreciation has also almost eaten up into that proof of funds, it won't be able to sustain you to be able to pay your bills, feed, and just live life without being, agitated about where the next money will be coming out from. So we need to be able to save this money and be able to bring the entire sum when we are moving to Canada. Okay,
On that proof of fund, there is this theory out there that there are people that get here and, like we've said, look, there's dignity of labor.
Right.
I hear this school of thought that says, as much as possible, any good job you can get, take it. Don't even plan on living on proof of fund, because if you can start earning, that proof of fund can be a good down payment for a mortgage. Would you want to touch on that?
Yes, but that's what I mean by saying, if these things, there's no plug and play, because you can't say that you will find a job immediately. So if you don't find, that proof of funds is there for you, and don't sit on your earth. You have to start looking for a job. So when you are offered, let me even give you a story. I remember when we newly landed too, and we went to Women International Women's of Saskatoon, and that was where we registered for our health card and stuff. There was a guy that actually spoke with my husband. We're talking, and he was asking. He actually mentioned that, okay, would you like to do a security job? So that, while we're also trying to hunt to get into, your proper profession and co. And I looked at him with one bad eye, like, what are you saying, security care? But you know what? It's not the kind of security, I'm coming from a mentality or a mindset from Nigeria, like someone that is guarding your house. That is not
guarding a company, right?
Exactly. But that's not the security we're talking about here. So sometimes when you go to the store, you find some people that help to arrest those that pilfer in the store. So not arrest like a police, so they will be exactly. So they actually watch. Some of them don't. In fact, you won't see them. They are watching behind a camera. They are sitting, drinking tea, enjoying life.
No, if you can, some of them have flex job.
And
night shifts as well.
You can go there, sit behind the camera, watch. You find them in some stores. Some of them will just take a walk around the aisle to see, okay, are you putting something in your pocket or not? And they go back and sit down. Those are the kind of easy jobs. And me, I thought it was a demeaning job. Because I didn't know. And you have to go through a certification, of course, get that before you can be employed into that. So, and it pays higher than the minimum wage.
They're almost always assimilating people.
And they take people all the time.
Yeah.
So you need to be aware. And when people, you need to ask questions too. So if you don't know, you don't know. And if you feel somebody is pushing something that demeans you, you feel really awkward, like I felt at the time. But honestly, it's not a bad job. It's a good job. Yes, you might feel it's not in line with my qualification, but it's a beginning. You can start with it and then you'll be able to pay your bills. Okay. So let's talk about personal achievement and growth into transiting into the employment that we all have right now. So was there any, did you have to go to school? What did you do differently to be able to get into where you are currently? I know sometimes people say go back to school to be able to, Canada holds very high esteem their institutions. If you actually go to school here, you are better off than somebody that didn't go. But it's still not a guarantee. I always use this word guarantee because everything is not in blanket space that it must happen this way. Step 1, step 2, step 3. No. But there are some times when they say that you actually went to a polytechnic in Canada, or you went to a uni, what's it called? Not uni now.
College.
To a college. And that actually gives you a step ahead. So tell me, what did you do differently? Did you run a certification? Yes. Did you? What did you do? I'll let only someone answer that because we still have a lot of questions.
Okay. Like I said, I leaned on the counsel of my mentor, and there was this ready program in the province, Introductions to Construction, coordinated by Saskatoon Skills and Trades.
Okay.
So they have like 6 pathways for people: early childhood, construction workers, welders, customer service. I can't remember the name, but they have a website I can share with everybody. So
I'll put in the link in the description box.
So that was, it was affiliated with Sask Poly. So it's like a poly program, but it's not certified. But one thing they did well was that they gave us all the necessary credentials to access the site, because that's another thing here. As much as there's almost always ready construction job, you can't just walk into a construction site. Like for me, that would have been the easy ready market, but I couldn't. You need some safety certification, some skill set. So what Skills and Trade did for me was they gave me all that, enough to even be like a safety supervisor. They kitted us up well, gave us tools. So I did that. My mentor also recommended some programs that I could do online, but that's where, like I say, stories differ. For me, as a family man with 2 growing children, I have it will be 9 in December and a 6 years old. I have a wife. I needed to be sure. I needed to quickly stabilize cash flow. So right now, thank God for the role I have. I'm hoping to do that online course in architecture just to familiarize myself with their system here. But it's not seriously hindering my growth. In fact, out of the about 9 architects that I knew in Nigeria that I contacted already here, I think only 2 are in architecture. Some have gone into interior decor. One of them is currently kitting up for IT right now. So the thing is, Canada also gives you an opportunity to reassess your goals. Some of us took these courses in Nigeria because my mommy, my daddy. Some of us took it because we felt it would give us an affluent life. And the truth is, there are many pathways to affluence here. So there are those options which you can do. I also know that if you sign up for a course, I hear that if it's done within your first year of landing and you sign up rightly, you can what's the word now, when you're doing, we can report it in your tax and you may get some substantial rebate from the government. So it's just for you to reassess. I know those that just went straight to school, but if you have a family, because they don't expect you to be working while you're in school. The maximum you can work while in school is 20 hours.
20 hours.
So now, bills.
20 hours.
So it depends on your situation, but there are possibilities, and then it differs on the industry also, right? So let me throw this question again. You have a 9-year-old and you have a 6-year-old.
how has integration been for them in school, different from Nigeria? How have they been able to really, get into the stream of talking to other people, other children? Has it been a good integration for them, or have they missed something? Did they come with one complaint or the other? Just tell us. Maybe she'll be able to tell us.
Of course, children will be children,
They take.
Children assimilate as in, like, they are just communal, yeah. They make friends easily, and as much as possible, you will tend to know as parents who are you making friends with, because of it's a new environment and all. Well, for our children, they are doing well because they have good communication and relationship skills. Back home in Nigeria, we have lots of friends that come visiting and all that, so they are used to that communal relationship that we normally have with people. So even before they left Nigeria, back in their school, they also have friends. They come just in me, mommy, this is what my friend did, this is what I did, and all that. So it wasn't difficult for them to actually assimilate into the system. But in schools there are some children that, in a way, culture basis are not the same thing with what they are used to. So definitely as children, and because they are our friends, they will come home and start asking me a lot of questions. Mommy, this person is doing this in my class, why can I not do it? And I'll be like, there's no way. You have to tell them everything. You have to explain everything to them so that you will not lose them to the culture that are here. Because varying the culture that we have back home is rich than what we have here, and as much as possible, or what you have in your home country, and as much as possible, you don't want your child to emulate bad things that are here. Okay, there are good cultures here, like being appreciative, like being concerned for yourself, like being helpful, being there for somebody. And of course we also have that back at home. So the ones that they don't have, that we have, we should not allow them to how will I put it now? We should not allow them to assimilate those kind of habits. Yes, the negative habits. So they are good. The only thing is just that, please, they'll go to school, see a number of things, see so many things that they are not even exposed to before, and they will come back to ask you questions. Don't say, come on, keep quiet and stop asking me that. No,
if I may,
you have to really answer their questions in details to their own understanding.
Talking about we are typically African communities. We are used to the law.
Yeah.
We are not used to being parents that give a lot of explanations,
and discussing.
But particularly here, you need that, and you need that because there are other people discussing with your children without your permission.
Yeah.
And if you don't equip your children with the right kind of knowledge and information, they may unwittingly, unknowingly, innocently put you into trouble.
Yeah.
For instance, my son came to me about 3 weeks of joining his school and asking me if he could go do a play date, a sleepover in his classmate's house. And I'm like, from where to where? Where did you know this person? But I knew I'd been prepped enough to know that I can't just tell him no.
Exactly.
Or I don't even know the person's prayer. What if I cannot do that? So I said, I just thought, Lord, how do I answer this boy without giving him what he can go and, because he can go and tell his friend. Yes.
Exactly.
So I said,
my mommy said,
my
daddy said,
I said, no problem, that you can go.
That's a problem.
But his daddy needs to call me first and let's discuss, because I need to know his parent and the parent needs to know me so that we'll know how to plan it. I didn't give him my phone number. So you now may have the father of the boy get my phone number. But if he's resourceful enough to call me, and then the conversation will begin. And that was we killed that dream from day one. So then the other thing is you need to start engaging them on some serious topics about sexuality, about religion. Guide them on how to discuss those topics, because from our typically conservative, largely Christo-Muslim structure, you are either Christian or Muslim, we already have some opinions, but you are in a very liberal society where some things that in our Yoruba parlance, they will just come and bring it to you. And
I can't interpret that on YouTube.
Some conversations you rather not want to get involved with, and our social structure had made it convenient to avoid those conversations. They are up in your face here, and they are open about it. And you need your kids, you need your family to be clear enough. You need to be able to manage your candidness here. You can't just be candid and throw words. No, because you don't know where the other person is coming from too. So when your kids ask questions, you need to calm down.
Ask them, answer
if
them.
you don't know how to answer them, tell them you are coming. Research. After researching, explain it to them properly and advise them on how to respond.
You have to discuss.
But one thing that doesn't fail, which I've told my kids a lot, is talk less. Listen more. It saves you a whole lot of hassle if they can adopt that. But kids talk. So the best thing is equip them with knowledge.
That's their superpower.
Okay, let me come to Bola now. Right. How do you maintain a sense of connection between friends and family back at home? I know Canada is 7 hours away from Nigeria, for instance. And Saskatoon. I rephrase Saskatoon. So if we're waking up in Saskatoon, they're in the afternoon in Nigeria. And of course, when you're waking up, it's not just in time on the work day. And when you have time to gist, they are in deep sleep. So how do you maintain that connection? How do you connect with your friends back at home, your family, so that just keep that going?
So basically, timetable, right? Timetable. You just have to establish wherever in Canada you are. You have to establish the time zone, right? Yes. Like she said, for us in Saskatoon here, it's when you're waking up, right? It's afternoon there. So you have to look at, at what time is best for me to have a conversation with whether it's your parents, your siblings, or, anybody at all, friends and family that are back home. And of course, you also know the kind, like for example, if I'm talking to my parents, I know it's not a 30 minutes call. I know it's not 1 hour, it's like 2 hours.
Your parents or your mom.
So you have to prepare, the day. Sometimes you have to prepare the day and the time, right? To do that. Most time weekdays here, because you have to work, and because you have bills to pay and all of that. So weekends you can, use those times, and that's basically it, to be honest. And of course, they can always throw chats, right? Thank God for chats. They can throw chats anytime. In fact, for me, I encourage my friends, talk to me anytime. When I see it, I'll respond, right? So it might not be,
the calls,
but definitely we would, we will always chat. So I have friends who just chat me out their time, and then I see it, early in the morning here or late at night. I'm like, hey, drop a message back and all of that.
And people abroad, when I say abroad now, I will say out of Canada, you need to also understand this, because the way we typically work in Nigeria, Fridays are group days, and it's like you can just tell your boss, "Okay, I'm coming," or "My mother is doing birthday," and then you close early, or there's a party, and then you go and you still get paid. But here, you work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid.
No pay.
And that goes back to when we talk about integration, or the different kind of the cultural differences. When you come to work in most organizations, there's the way you clock in. Some not everywhere really, but you have to clock in. There must be a way that they can check that you actually came in, or sometimes your boss will come in ahead of you. That way is a check. You know that you have come in. And if you don't come and you're probably going early or you're closing early, for some jobs that you probably work remotely, they'll tell you to make up that time. So it's either you're working late on another day to be able to make up the time, because they won't pay you.
Exactly.
They won't pay you. So if you are calling and we are not picking your calls, we have to be paid. We only have 30 minutes break or 1 hour break for some kind of jobs, and then you're working extra to be able to make up. So it's not easy. It's not easy. I know some people they are not happy. They feel they are not responding. You have gotten there now. Our shoulder has gone up.
It's not like
that. It's not like that.
And you know, there's also the challenge, even if you manage to pick the call. And for most organizations, like the previous organization I was working with, we had when I had to work in the workshop, we had the coffee room.
Yes.
Guys know they chop for coffee room. We all eat in the workshop floor.
Yeah.
And you know, it's always like a communal thing where you sit in the circle, everybody's talking, they're expecting you to give, the art of small talk. You know that kind of thing. So now imagine me picking a call in that circle. Naturally you want to excuse yourself, but before excusing yourself, you can pick the call and then I can't speak Yoruba.
Exactly.
You understand? Even if na Yoruba I dey talk or Pidgin we dey talk before, I'll have to answer, oh, hello, how you doing today? Just a moment. And then you'll be like, where did they do this one? But it's because there's a unwritten rule that you make them feel uncomfortable when you speak your native language. Not because they don't want to,
them out.
So you need to be sensitive to these things. We're not saying don't speak your native language, but you must be sensitive to them. Some work environments, they are very laid back. Like where I work right now, they are introverts mostly, but they are laid back. So you need to study them. So that's when you come over. And then for those on the other end, you need to just understand that cut your guys some slack. You know, some things will change, but by and large, you know, relationships should continue. So most times, like I said, I think for me, I've tried and encouraged all my friends, just let's do weekend.
Weekend works better.
But you know, the challenge
and you know, not all weekends too. Yes, not all weekends, because that's also a time for us to unwind. You know, get to relax. Like on Saturday mornings too. Man, I don't wake up early because
same here.
That's a way to be able to reset after a long week, and then so many house chores to catch up with us as well. All right, we're going to wrap up shortly, and I just want to ask, so tell us let me come this way. What advice do you have for those thinking of coming this way? You know, we talked about expectation, we talked about reality. Have you also, you're 3 months, you probably don't have a lot of experience yet, but has it also ever crossed your mind to say, why did I take this step? Or maybe some things are not working and you feel, man, I'm going back home. So 2 questions in one.
So for me, right, as an advice to everyone, you just have to plan for your journey to Canada or whatever country it is that you're looking to relocate to. You have to plan for it, right? And planning involves financial planning, right? And also your career planning. And you also have to look at even your family planning. There's a lot. You just don't wake up and decide I'm going. Right? So you have to plan. And the financial one is very key, I will not lie to you, because there are no guarantees that you'll get a job as you land, right? But you need something to at least to hold you, because as you land, you're paying the house, or whether it's 1 room or it's 3 bed or whatever, you're paying for it on a monthly basis. Some are even bi-weekly, from what I understand.
They'll pay 2 months.
You have signed a contract.
Sign a lease.
Sign a lease. So even if you want to change to maybe a better paying one, you must get.
Is that even a 6 months or a 1 year?
1 year. Mostly 1 year actually. If you break it, you lose your deposit, your security.
Exactly.
Deposit.
So you just have to plan financially. Your career, depending on the field where you are, as much as possible. Like I always tell people, right, there's nothing wrong in you aspiring to do what you've been used to doing, right? You can do that, but prepare for it. But also in the back of your mind, don't be stuck up about it. That is just what I want to be flexible. I came with a flexible mind, but I guess God just blessed me and said, you will have this one.
Yes, yeah.
But there was preparation. I had to package my CV, and I was applying while I was still in Nigeria. Right. While I was still in Nigeria, I was applying for Canadian jobs, and there were many things that I had to redo my CV, you know, and
we call it resume here. You're still not
because I know what I'm talking about.
It's still a Nigerian.
You're still a Nigerian.
So basically, you know, you have to do all of that. There are certifications that you think, maybe global certifications that you want to take while you're still there, because they could also be cheaper while you're still in Nigeria than when you do it here. So career preparation, financial preparation, your family as well, and you know, basically all of that. Be open-minded, like we said. You're coming to a new country, you know, just be open-minded. You two are coming to learn. You're not just coming and imposing your Nigerianness to everybody that is there, right? You have to be accommodating as people look to accommodate you as well.
Okay, Samuel.
Okay. I think he has given the foundation, all the Sean, emotional, financial, all the Sean prep. But then you need to properly look at your industry. You know, like, permit me to say this, I learned right now that it might be easier for a doctor to go first to the UK, then come to Canada, than come straight to Canada with your Nigerian experience. You may find it difficult being assimilated, so you might need to look at those. They easily accept UK medical experience, you know. But for us, as those in the construction industry, get as much certification as you can. A PMI, that's project management, will be very good. It will help. It can give you a leg in the door. It doesn't guarantee. For you as an architect, yes, I learned now when I got here. I'd known about it before, but I felt it would be cheaper. Somebody even advised that I should just wait and get here before I do my professional credential assessment. But from a friend who landed sometime in October last year, she was able to do a credential assessment, and that helped in her getting an intern job, you know, which is closer to the professional end game than. So it's going to be quite expensive. The last time I checked, it was 1,500 Canadian dollars for the money aspect of that assessment. But then, you know, it helps you to get a better job early. So you might want to look at those kind of things. The other side is, if you have a situation like mine where you have younger children, you and your partner might need to prepare yourself for maybe somebody taking the home front, or maybe prepping for, like she said, to night shifts, day shifts kind of jobs.
Work from home,
you know. Then,
work from home job.
Yes, work from home too. Then, if I may say, if your job has a strong IT side, go take that one. IT is a universal language right now, and it's IT busts the doors. It doesn't give a leg in the door. You know, it can. So if you can, you know, now some people don't like, but if you know you can endure the IT introverted thinking process, maybe you can just shift to that. Then use that to get in, and then you can go back to what you love the most.
Okay.
I'm also busting into the IT space, right? So
IT is universal, and you can always find IT roles in almost all
the companies.
So I don't know why, if you're in HR, you can find an IT, you can be a Scrum Master in HR, you can be a project manager in HR, you can be really one.
Yeah, there's IT audits, yes.
Yes.
I actually went for, I did some trainings on IT audits and compliance, which I'm actually going into presently. Yes, since our children now, you know,
can go full school.
They are good. So can go to full school. So I did some trainings on that. So I'm going through that route. So you can actually, IT is versed. It's not until you're doing coding. It's
not everything that is coding.
Exactly. The management side of IT that you can even go into and you'll be good.
So you can always look at that, and also looking at the future for careers. AI is taking this space. So I always tell people, try and look at your career moving forward and step into that future for yourself. Don't be boxed. Like Bola said, you need to be open-minded. In fact, Canada has helped in such a way that you can transition from one role to the other. You can be something else back at home and then move. Like most people, or some people that come in as bankers, they feel they want to come and work in the bank here, but they realize that banking here is so different from Nigeria.
Everything
is so different, and sometimes they can't even cope.
Everything is different.
And of course, look at the pay. It's not like what you earn in Nigeria. So they want to look at something else. They can move into IT. They can move into other roles.
Yeah.
It's just a certification away, honestly. It's just a certification away. And then you'll be where you want to. At the end of the day, it is still paying your bills. You want money to be able to help you pay your bills. So that's what we're looking at. So I think...
I have one last advice.
Okay.
Please try to minimize your social media exposure, because I find a lot of people making that mistake. They come here, they are still managing to get settled, and they're already dying on social media. Before you know it, calls begin to come, and you don't want to offend somebody.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you know your finance is not.
You know you're not there.
You understand. So, but
don't give people the opinion,
don't give the wrong impression. No, but it's not. It's not competition.
Yes, no.
You won't get there.
Good advice.
So thank you so much. I'm sure you've actually had a good information. It's really interactive. We had good moments here, and I want to appreciate you for watching. Thank you so much, Bola. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Bola, for honoring this invitation and sharing your opinions. In fact, this is really candid opinions and 1 or 2 lessons that you need to take away from here. So if this has been interesting to you, please subscribe, like, and share this so that we can have many more people on the bus, so that they can learn and just be quick.
It doesn't
subscribe.
It doesn't buy
our channel. Subscribe.
Thank you so much for watching, and I will come your way again on another vlog. Bye guys.
Bye.